A Brief History of Rock and Roll by Sarah Bell. I just got off the phone with my brother who's volunteering at the Blue Heron Festival. As he described the campers setting up, the food vendors, and the buzz around tonight's barn dance, I realized that these modern day festivals are doing their best to recreate the magic that was Woodstock. The energy is still there, whether it's Burning Man, EDC, or when we were young. People are chasing the same open air, community driven feeling that rock and roll once gave them. That craving for connection, rebellion, and freedom, that's what rock and roll was born out of. Rock and roll was new in the 1950s, and anything new, especially anything that disrupts norms, tends to scare people, especially older generations. That fear reminds me of how people are reacting to the AI boom today. Like rock, AI is exciting, full of possibility, but also deeply unknown. Rock and roll in the 50s was met with suspicion, especially because of its roots in Black culture and its sexual energy. It was seen as dangerous and deviant, just like queerness still often is. As Adam Block said it best, the fact that to this day I can't think of one rock artist who has been gay and proud, erotic and liberating, seizing the airways and giving the boys boners. Rock was built by voices that wreaked havoc with a nation's notions of deviance and decency. Big Mama Thornton's Hound Dog was gritty, powerful, and unapologetic. Elvis may have made it mainstream, but she owned it first. And to his credit, Elvis gave recognition to the Black artists whose sound shaped his own. As All Shook Up remind us, young people in the 50s weren't just listening to music, they were using it to shape their identity separate from their parents and push back against a culture that wanted them quiet and obedient. The rise of national radio and TV brought this music into living rooms across the country, it unifying teens coast to coast. What's That Sound emphasized how media technology, radio especially, helped turn regional hits into national sensations. This decade was also when the 1954 Brown v. Board of Education decision began the process of school integration. That ruling broke down racial barriers legally, while rock and roll began to do it socially. Jimi Hendrix's performance of the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock still gives me chills. It was loud, distorted, electric, and true. He took the most patriotic song we have and bent it to reflect what America was really feeling: war, anger, protest, heartbreak. Even though many had left the festival due to rain, his performance was recorded and remembered forever. Hendrix didn't just play music, he communicated emotion without words. That's what made him a legend. By the 1960s, rock had grown into a force for protest. Whether it was against Vietnam War, segregation, or governmental control, rock gave people a voice. From the start, rock and roll has had the power to bring people together, and it shows no signs of slowing. Woodstock wasn't just a musical festival, it was a cultural moment, a gathering of the hopeful and the loud. Black Sabbath's Iron Man is one of the first songs I can remember falling in love with on the radio. Its dark, heavy sound represented a turn in rock, away from peace and love and toward frustration and rage and grit. The 70s saw the fallout from the 60s idealism. Watergate, inflation, gas shortages, the country was reeling. Iron Man spoke to that. It sounded like disillusionment. It was disillusionment. Sabbath helped define heavy metal, and their influence can still be felt today. Their music gave voice to kids growing up in the economic ruins of post war Britain and resonated deeply with American youth who were starting to feel just as betrayed by their systems. Tina Turner was everything. Her comeback in the 80s was more than a rebrand, it was a revolution. After surviving years of abuse, she came back stronger and louder and totally in control of her image. Her music didn't just chart, it challenged. She opened the door for artists like Beyonce to command the stage with power and sensuality. Her moves, her voice, her story all made her unstoppable. She was proof that rock and roll wasn't just for the boys and not just a young person's game. The 1990s were my era. I started discovering music on my own and carving out an identity that felt separate from my parents. Gwen Stefani's voice, attitude, and lyrics were like a revelation. I can still remember belting out Just a Girl and Spiderwebs with my friends like it was a battle cry. Gwen Stefani was another trailblazer that laid the foundation for many rock goddesses to follow. It's hard to imagine where artists like Avril Lavigne, Katy Perry, and Paramore would be without the influences of Gwen and No Doubt. All Shook Up explores how music can create spaces for youth culture to challenge expectations, and this was it for me. Even my mom, who didn't love it at first, came around. Rock and roll music in general is a great equalizer. From Big Mama Thornton to Gwen Stefani, rock has amplified the voices of people society tried to ignore. Black musicians, queer voices, women, young people, protesters, survivors. It brought people together across race, gender, and class lines, even when society wasn't ready for that. So, where does rock and roll belong in American history? Everywhere, in our courts, in our protests, in our bedrooms, and car rides and headphones. Rock is rebellion, connection, and freedom. And like Jimi Hendrix said, this was only the beginning. And like the king said, oh, thank you very much.